What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Daryl Fletcher, owner and operator of Sofa Ranch. And once again, we have another awesome segment highlighting the mental health awareness in the month of May and talking about the healing power of equine assisted activities. And like always, we're bringing you to today a special guest. This particular young man, he and I have a somewhat of a history. I was his supervisor and manager years ago when we worked in retail, and it's so awesome to see him again. And we're operating in the same space. So I want to go ahead and bring to the platform Mr. J. Christopher Anderson. How you doing there, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
It is a beautiful day in my neck of the woods, man. So,
Yes,
for
sir.
those of you who, for those of us who don't know who you are and what you do, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes, so my name is Jay Christopher Anderson. I'm the founder of 777 Ranch here in Houston, Texas. So, what 777 Ranch is a nonprofit organization. It's a rehabilitation facility for kids in the CPS system.
Mm,
We rehabilitate them between 8 months to a year. We have a contract with the state of Texas. And so, basically, my kids come from, they have already been adopted. And for one way or another, the adoption is going south.
mm,
So when the adoption goes south, they start getting in trouble. They come see me
mm.
for 8 months to a year. So we do a lot of animal assisted therapy, equine therapy, horticulture, trade skill requirements, and also a lot of individual, group, and family therapy. So once the child leaves me, they go back to their family with these boundaries and skill set, and hopefully be a better person.
Man, you said an important thing, man, especially within today's day and time when you're talking about boundaries. Why are boundaries so important with our young people and their mental health?
Ooh. I think it now, and especially in this day and age, um, these kids aren't built like we were growing up. We were a little bit more tougher emotionally,
Hmm.
and even physically, with these kids in this day and age. But with these boundaries that are being set, I believe it just gives a standpoint of who's the parent, and a
Mm,
parent being an actual parent and
yeah,
not a friend.
yeah,
You can't be both.
yeah.
So with that, we try to really dive deep into um, what makes them click,
Mm,
what upsets you, why are
mm,
you in this situation now?
yeah.
And once they recognize and acknowledge that, then that's when the real journey starts.
Mm.
And we really dive into, how can we make this better? What is the relationship between you and your parents, your guardians, so on and so forth, and really try to rehabilitate them from the inside out.
Man, that's awesome. And the thing about it that is, which is so important, persons like yourself and I, I started riding when I was 7. How old were you when you started? But you was riding since you was like 3 years old, right?
Yeah, I've been riding since I was three.
Yeah.
I started rodeo when I was about 13.
Mm,
My brothers and I, we've rodeoed pretty much our whole life.
yeah.
I have brothers who are still rodeoing professionally. My little brother's in the PRCA. He's a calf roper. He
Wow.
finished number 57 in the world last year, and a couple other friends who finished number 2, 3, and 7 in the world last year also.
And so I bring that up because I want to talk about the impact that a horse can have on a young person's life at an early age, and more specifically, persons of color. You and
Yes.
I are. Uh, Quite rare in the community of horses because number one, we are male, and number two, we are persons of color. And so I find it that many times when we get into this world and get into the conversations, it there are people who don't look like us, and because people who don't look like us kind of dominate that industry, it becomes a thing of people who are younger than us, or our children. They don't necessarily see that it is a fit or even an opportunity for them. So talk to us a little bit about the greatest impact, or the great impact that a horse can have on a young child's life.
So, I mean, growing up, it was somewhere when I grew up in Trinity Gardens in Houston on the northeast side. It wasn't uncommon to see a horse or in the front yard, or people on Saturdays, going down having a trail ride down the street.
Hmm.
Um, we're in the horse capital, cowboy capital of the United States, in Texas, and just allowing those something that has to depend on you, and really all it has is you to
Mm,
survive, is a responsibility in itself. And so I didn't have time growing up to get in trouble, because when I was after school, I was going to go rodeo, and we were practice. We were practice from Monday to Friday. On Wednesdays, we would go to jackpots. And from Wednesday to Friday, our father, he would match whatever we made. So if we
mm,
made 500, he gave us 500. We had 1,000 to go rodeo for the weekend.
mm.
Um, with just this horse, it's this beast that you see that it looks like you can't overcome, because he's 1,000 plus pounds, muscle. They have their own mind. They sometimes do what they want to do, and in return, you build that bonding connection with them when they have that trust in you. And so that's the first, I say, being that was able to trust me, and I trusted them that you're not going to hurt me, and we're going to work together and get this job done.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And one of the words that you actually use, I like the word that you use, bond. And
Yes.
so many young people within in our current today's situation, they struggle with bonding.
Mhm.
We have all this social media, which is
Yeah.
um, and but the thing about it is social media is creating an antisocial sector, and we're finding, well, I know, in my practice, I'm finding that kids are so antisocial that
Yes.
they don't even know how to hold
A
a
conversation.
simple conversation and looking someone in the eye, because it's uncomfortable, and because they're so used to texting, they're so used to just being expressing themselves without actually being seen, that it's uncomfortable for them when they actually have to have a one-on-one conversation. And I was saying this just the other day, that regardless of how much AI and technology that comes across the board, you still cannot remove the power and the importance of human connection. And that's
Right.
one of the things that I believe that horses actually have the opportunity to do, especially when it pertains to the mental health and wellness of our young people, because they are just experiencing array of things, and because they experience these array of emotions, they don't necessarily have the coping skills that they need in order to go forward. And horses also are a wonderful opportunity for young people and young men to learn these coping skills. So, talk to us just a little bit about. So, in your program, are there both male and female, or is it just male?
So excuse me, my program is just males, and I have a so right now we have 10 participants. Now again, they stay on camp, they stay on the facility.
Hmm.
We have 8 months to a year. My license from 10 through 17. So with that, I have an array of, I have the ADHDs, I have the bipolarisms, I have the schizophrenics, I have the IDDs, I have
Mm,
every spectrum, the autism spectrum, I have everything you have under the SPED umbrella. I have it here. Um, and so with that, we try to again get them on a path of understanding, getting those interpersonal skills going, having those meetings, those talks, those tough talks,
hmm.
that maybe they've been through a lot of trauma, and they don't know how to express themselves. And again,
Hmm.
that's what a lot of these kids these days don't know how to do. Their parents are kind of like oh, well, go sit down, go play video games, get out of my face. While
Hmm.
we're every 15 minutes, my staff is making sure they're okay. Are you good? You gonna do anything? So now it's a point of, you see me when I wasn't being seen at home. So you see
Mm,
me. So again, those boundaries are then set with, when they go back home with the parents, like, you have to pay attention to your kids. It's not
hmm.
all about, I gave you an iPhone, I gave you a car, I gave you, all these tangible things. And then you wonder why your child is all of a sudden just in this depressed stage.
Mm,
And it's a beautiful thing when now the parents, okay, let's take all that away. My kids don't have any cell phones here.
Hmm.
All they have are you're gonna go outside and going to work, and you're going to go ride, or you're going to work the chickens or whatever, see about the garden, or we're going to talk and we're going to work through these problems you have. And so
Wow.
it's so I'm a firm believer now in just having the child just be a child and get
Mm.
back to those foundations that I was that helped me and save my life from going to the cemetery in the grave or going to the penitentiary growing up.
Man, that's so powerful because it's so important that you mentioned the factor about the parents,
Yes.
and there's this form of, for lack of a better term, neglect, to where the parents now have to get that understanding. The parents may have to do some therapy, and that's one of the things that we do here also at Sofa Ranch, where we work with adults and children, and doing that group equine assisted learning, group equine assisted activities, so that if I'm addressing an issue with the child and we're coaching that child to go back into the dynamics of the home, that those parents need those coping skills, those parents
Exactly.
need those communication skills as well, because it's so valuable. Because even now, you know I know we started talking about kids, but adults are being weighed down, adults are being stressed out with all the different things that are going on with the world. But at the same time, some of those parents don't have the coping skills that they have, and they never really think about or even cross their mind that, man, this maybe some horses can be the solution. And
Mhm.
so, sometimes when I do a presentation and I'm talking to a group of people who have never heard about equine assisted therapy or heard about equine assisted learning, I ask the question, what if a horse was the key and the source to all your problems? What and then essentially, horses have these mirror neurons in there, where, just like, you and I have been riding together one time, and when a horse is going over the creek, so you got one horse in the front that's going over the creek, and the other horse that's in the back that's afraid of the creek.
Right.
Those mirror neurons kick in to where the horse says, oh, if that horse is not afraid of the creek, then I shouldn't be afraid of the creek. But what we do in our programs is we parallel that to the human experience, where we now have someone that has the opportunity and the ability to understand, okay, I'm showing up. How do I show up in the world? I want to show up, and I want to be able to create that leadership mentality, that leadership environment, that I am now the thermostat. I am not the thermometer. I am going to set the tone in this particular relationship. I'm going to set the tone in this house. I'm going to set the tone, so
Yes.
where people are actually following me, and they just be able they're able to identify with the leadership qualities that I possess. And so horses, once again, give a person the capacity to do that. When we put someone who's never been around a horse in the arena or the round pen, and I had one client one time, I told him to sit because he had a problem with manipulation, right?
Mhm.
So he had a problem with manipulating people within his life, and I just told him, go sit in the center of the arena, and when you settle yourself, the horse will come over to you. So he sat there and sat there, and it was such a fight for him to not try to manipulate the horse. He had apples in his hand, which I didn't know, but he was, see, that subconscious nature of trying to manipulate the situation. And the reality of the situation is the horse never came. And I just really wanted him to really understand that there is no power in manipulating, but what there is power in is connection.
Yeah.
And when you have the power to connect, and horses will show you how to connect with the emotions that are in going on
Right.
inside of you, and the mental capacity that you have now, that you become aware of those emotions and aware of those feelings, you now learn how to channel that. And it's so important for young people and even older people to learn how to be aware of those emotions that are
Yes.
going on the inside of them.
I feel a lot of times, especially in the black community and these older generations, it was a lot of sweeping a lot of things under the rug. And
Hmm.
I'm grateful that now we're starting to talk about those tough issues,
Mm-hmm.
those elephants in the room that
Mm-hmm.
have been just been a curse over families for generations,
Wow. Yeah.
and really diving deep into that. And I've never, I tell anybody, I've never seen a person, or I never put a child on a horse that didn't love it at the end of the day and wanted to come back.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing about it. They feel, they know when you're scared. They know when you tense up. They feel all those emotions. If they can feel a fly on their back,
Yep.
and then they can feel you tightening up
Yeah.
and nervous.
And
And
yeah, it's so powerful because one of our previous guests talked about a horse being able to hear your heartbeat within 4 feet of you.
mm,
And so I tell people all the time when they come to the ranch, you can lie to me, you can lie to the therapist, you can lie to your counselor, but you're not going to lie to this horse.
right,
So when you tell me that you're not afraid and I'm looking at the horse and it's
right,
responding to me in a certain manner or responding to you in a certain manner, you're lying to me. And so that is, I would say, as we're talking about mental health awareness, that is probably the number one step that we have to take. We have to stop lying to ourselves
yes,
about the issues that we are facing and the issues that we are going to, because it's easy to lie to everyone else, but you're not going to lie to horse. You're not going
right,
to lie to this horse. And when
right,
he starts sidestepping and start twitching and shifting, oh, I already know what's going on. So
right.
at the end of the day, my job is to help that person and coach them and ask the right questions in order to help them maneuver through those particular challenges and through those particular situations.
Understandable.
Yeah, man. So, how long have you been doing triple seven ranch?
So Triple Seven Ranch has been established since 2016. We first started as a mobile clinic, and what I was doing, I was going around to different RTCs and JROs in the Houston metro area, and just
Okay,
doing.
now hold on one second. You using all these
Okay,
uh
so
what are
RTC,
those what are those stand for?
so an RTC is uh, a rehabilitation facility.
Okay.
So, and a GERO is a general residential facility. So one deals more or less with the the services, the mental services, the
Mhm.
groups and everything. Excuse me. While a GRO is pretty much like a home.
Okay.
So I was going around to these different facilities and giving these services of during the summer, and we taught them again equine therapy. We taught them how to horticulture. We taught them how to tie, checks and balances, about credit, how to interview. We did table etiquette, things of that nature for those boys, and
Mm.
how to write a check. The little things that we learned growing up, how to write your name in cursive, because
Yeah.
again, they don't teach that in school anymore.
That's so crazy to me, but I'm not even we're not even finna go there right now
Oh
because
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
those things we started, and we did that about 2 or 3 years, and then we finally found a home, and
Mm.
now we're in the Trinity Gardens Northeast area, doing great things here.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Now how many horses do you have on campus there?
So on campus we have three.
Okay.
We have three.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Excellent. I'm actually coming to Texas. Um, I'm not sure, but I'm coming for a trail ride. So we
I
definitely have to
got you.
hook up, man. We definitely
Yeah,
have to
I
hook
got
up.
a young horse, man. I need to put some miles on. So
Oh
that's more.
man, man, come on now. So yeah, we'll talk about that when we get off live, man. But I
Yeah.
want to get back to this mental health awareness with the kids. So what was the motivational factor for you to get yourself involved with these young people and help them learn different life skills and learn and utilizing horticulture and horses for that benefit?
So I saw a need with trying to cut off the school to prison pipeline.
Okay.
I taught school off and on for about 10 years
Okay.
actually in this same community.
Mm,
And I learned that most of my kids had either a horse or a pig or a goat, or the grandpa or grandma or somebody had some kind of agricultural foundation that they've instilled in them. And so
mm,
I said, okay. And then when I started teaching, with the school system here, especially, it's most they just want to teach the test, the
mm,
standardized test. And I've never had a kid come to me and say, "Hey, Mr. Anderson, that standardized test we took, that STAR test we took back in the day, it really helped me in life."
Mm,
So when I started teaching, I realized that those kids could not sit 45 minutes and focus. So I crunched down my lesson to 20 minutes. Another 25 minutes, we talked about life
mm,
skills, relationships, and I told them stories. And the worst of the worst kids, and I would bring my horses up to the school sometimes, and the
mhm,
worst of the worst kids were some of my best children.
mm,
But they were worse. They were bad at other teachers' classrooms. So one day they say, "Anderson, what are you doing?" So we'll come see. So when they came to my room and the admin came and saw what I was doing, they said, "Ms. Anderson, you're doing a great job, but we need you to teach from bell to bell. That's the rule in HISD." And at that point I said, I'm done. I want to do my own thing. And
mm.
so I decided to make this facility and create this vision and mission to where I can instill in them what I learned growing up. It's everybody's not meant to go to college.
Correct.
However, everyone is meant to work.
Mm,
And so if I can give you these trade skills and this skill set that they see on the TV of people that don't look like us.
mhm,
However, we're the founders of the cowboy. That's how they got the name cowboy.
mhm.
So
Yep.
if I can distill that in them and that work ethic that we're kind of getting away from, everyone's being a YouTuber and social media. If I can still that in you to come back to where your grandparents were, how
Mm,
they would set a tomato in the window and see if it's not ripe yet, or go outside and take care of something like a horse that
mhm,
it cannot take care of itself.
mm.
Um, I just want to do it my own way, and it's working out for me.
Well, that's good, man. That's awesome, man. And I have the similar story where I was working with youth for a number of years as an assistant youth pastor, and I would see these young men go in and out of the judicial system, and I'm like, man, and with g- experiencing horses at a young age, I knew what it was about to ride a horse, and the liberation and the
Yes,
and the feeling and the character building, from working with my grandfather on his farm. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, there ought to be a way where I can intercept these kids before they get to the judicial system,
yes,
and rather than going to jail or the juvie hall, let's bring them to the ranch. Let's teach them some life skills. Let's help them understand the power of the horse and how it can be beneficial. And it's so important because, like, even we have an after school program here that we do between the hours of 4 and 7 o'clock in the spring and summer times. And then we also have our summer camp where we're intercepting these kids way before they even get in trouble, just trying to really expose them to the benefits and the power of horses. And even within that, you know, that equine assisted learning, equine assisted behavioral therapy, equine assisted therapy, and just giving them the opportunity to really understand. I have one young man working with me right now. He's one of my junior leaders. He's been with me for almost 2 years.
mm,
He's a little short guy
mm,
and started out with some little self-esteem issues and self-image issues because he was always talk about um, how short he was or how little he was. And then the thing about it is, and one of the mantras that we have around here is we find solutions, not excuses. And
yes,
so when he was putting on this horse, when he was putting on the saddle with the horse and he couldn't reach it, I was like, we find solutions, not excuses. So then he would drag the mountain block to the horse, get it on. And so teaching them to unlock that
yes.
solution based approach to
Problem
life.
solving. The problem
Exactly.
solving.
Exactly. And those coping skills, rather than relying on just, oh, I'm going to just do it this way. No, there is a plethora of options that you have within your tool bag that you can begin to use and say, you know what, this is how I'm going to approach life. This is
Yes,
how I'm going to approach everything. And it's so important, especially for their mental health, because now we're building that self esteem, we're
yes,
building that confidence, we're building those leadership and communication skills that they can be able to transfer everything that they've learned on the ranch into their everyday
Very right.
life. And that's so important, man. Just want to give, as we're bringing this thing to a close, man, just if there was one thing that you could share with our audience about the benefits of working with and around horses, what would that one thing be?
Oh, it's so many, but I'll have to say again, just that confidence builder.
Mm.
In this day and age, these kids, especially with the mental health, they find it as a scapegoat sometimes, and not
Mm.
be able to or not want to. And a lot of times you have to say, no, every day we wake up and it's life. It's going to pick you up and put you down and knock you over and flip you upside down. But every
Yeah.
day you have to get up and learn how to cope, how to understand that, hey, this too shall pass.
Yes.
Um, and knowing that you have something greater that is for you. That's why you're still here. So I would say the confidence builder.
Yeah, confidence is such an important factor, especially with our young people
Yes.
right now, because they have a false sense of confidence. I was working with a young man, maybe 2 months ago. He's been getting in trouble in and out of school, and his social worker brought him over, and you know he was like, "Well, I'm not scared. I'm good. And then so I told him to go just go groom the horse, just go brush the horse, and
He
he's
won't do
sitting there touching the horse like you know
that.
yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, I said, you know what you're communicating to the horse right now? You're communicating that something is wrong. You're
Mhm.
communicating that you're scared. And if the horse with their mirror neurons, if you're scared, the horse is like, well, shoot, it's something for me to be scared around
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Right.
And
Right.
so he had this false sense of bravado. He was only like 13, 14 years old. So, they think they know everything
Right.
anyway. And so he had this false sense of bravado and like, yeah, man, da, 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 I ain't scared. I ain't scared. But here it is. You can't even brush a horse. Now, I heard this on one of Will Smith's movies. He said the the danger is real, but the fear is false.
Mm.
And the important nugget of that is that the fact that the potential of a horse kicking you, yes, that is real.
Yes. Yes.
But how you show up is that's where you really want to address, because you're creating worst case scenarios in your head,
Right.
and because you're creating worst case scenarios in your head, you're visualizing what the worst can happen. And so
Yes.
at the end of the day, teaching our young people how to envision the positive side of things,
Right.
envision the confidence, and envision the self-esteem. That's where we want our energy. That's where we want to draw our young people to, because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you can lie to me all you want to, but guess what? This horse is going to get the truth out of you. And
Yes.
so it's our job as persons like ourselves, as we're working with these young people, working with these adults, and then working with these horses, to get them to be mindful. Guess what? It's okay to be scared,
Yes.
because if you're lying about the fear, we can never address it. Another mantra that we have here at Sofa Ranch is, you can't conquer what you're not willing to confront.
Yes.
So
Correct.
here it is. You have to confront that fear. What are you afraid of? Okay,
Yes.
you're afraid of getting kicked by a horse. But what if we did everything in our power to put you in a position where that doesn't take place? Then what? Then what? And then so now teaching them step by step how to break that fear down, how to break that anxiety down, and then walk in and step into that power that you actually have, that power of leadership, that power
Yes.
of communication, that power of confidence. Now, what's your excuse now? You don't have
Right.
one. So if I can teach a young man how to connect and work with the horse, they should have no problem being bullied in school.
Correct. Correct. Because then it oozes out of you.
Hmm.
You walk into a room and they can feel it.
Yep. Exactly.
They not don't see it, but they feel it.
Yep.
And it's an amazing journey again with being with that equine therapy. We have I started a mantra here. You've never seen half a sunrise. Have you never
Mm,
seen half a sunflake? You've
mm,
never seen half a water drop or
mm.
rainfall. And you've never seen half a sunset.
Yeah.
So he allows you to begin things and finish them.
Yeah.
He's not going to start anything he can't finish.
Mm,
And so if you started here, we want you to finish it.
yeah.
Even if you don't want to do it ever again, you need to finish it.
Yeah. Man, that's so powerful, man. Before we get out of here, I want you to go ahead and share your contact information for some of our audience who may be in the well, not Dallas, the Houston, Texas area,
Yeah.
and that way they can get in contact with you. How can they get in contact with you?
So you can go to www.777ranch.org. It's ORG. Yeah,
Dot
triple
triple
seven
seven
ranch
dot org.
dot
We will make that
org.
corrections. Dot
Yeah,
org, not dot com. Bam,
yeah,
there it is.
.org. We're on the northeast side of Houston, Texas, in the Trinity Garden area. Our address is 5106 Weaver Road. You're more than welcome to come by anytime. We're always here, and we always need a helping hand.
Yes, sir. Those volunteers be coming through. Yes.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Well, thank you so much, Jay Christopher. Hold on one second. Guys,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
so much for tuning in to this awesome segment where we've been focusing on the mental health benefits of and the healing power of equine assisted activities. We just interviewed Jay Christopher Anderson and at the 777 Ranch and the wonderful work he's doing with young people. We want you to make sure that you stay connected with all the different guests that we have been having on our segments and want to make sure that you stay connected with us. So please go over to our website, sofaranch.com, and connect with us. Send us a message. Is there anything that you can ask or anything that you would like to participate in? Please let us know. And also, if you would like, go ahead and click that donate button. We are a 50c31 organization, and we have the opportunity to impact more lives with the dollars and the dollars that you give to our organization. So we want to thank you once again for tuning in. All month May, we will be bringing you special guests and talking about the mental health benefits of horses. And once again, I am your host, Daryl Fletcher, founder and operator of Sofa Ranch. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much.